woods called the Wild Woods, there are ladies' slippers and wood lilies, and the slender wands of clintonia with its deep blue berries. When Roger has visited me in Maine, and we have walked in these woods, I have made no conscious effort to name plants or animals, nor to explain to him, but have just expressed my own pleasure in what we see, calling his attention to this or that, but only as I would share discoveries with an older person. Later I have been amazed at the way names stick in his mind, for when I show color slides of my woods plants, it is Roger who can identify them. "Oh, that's what Rachel likes, that's bunchberry. Or that's juniper. But you can't eat those green berries, they're for the squirrels." I am sure no amount of drill would have implanted the names so firmly as just going through the woods in the spirit of two friends on an expedition of exciting discovery. In the same way, Roger learned the shells on my little triangle of sand that passes for a beach in rocky Maine. When he was only a year and a half old, they became known to him as winkies, periwinkles, whacks, whelks, and muckies, mussels, without my knowing quite how this came about, for I had not tried to teach him. We have let Roger share our enjoyment of things people ordinarily deny children because they are inconvenient, interfering with bedtime or involving wet clothing that has to be changed or mud that has to be cleaned off the rug. We have let him join us in the dark living room before the big picture window to watch the full moon riding lower and lower toward the far shore of the bay, setting all the water ablaze with silver flames and finding 1,000 diamonds in the rocks on the shore as the light strikes the flakes of mica embedded in them. I think we have felt that the memory of such a scene, photographed year after year by his child's mind, would mean more to him in manhood than the sleep he was losing. He told me it would in his own way when we had a full moon the night after his arrival last summer. He sat quietly on my lap for some time, watching the moon and the water and all the night sky. And then he whispered, "I'm glad we came." A rainy day is the perfect time for a walk in the woods. I always thought so myself. The Maine woods never seem so fresh and alive as in wet weather. Then all the needles on the evergreens were a sheath of silver, ferns seem to have grown to almost tropical lushness, and every leaf has its edging of crystal drops. Strangely colored fungi, mustard yellow and apricot and scarlet, are pushing out of the leaf mold, and all the lichens and the mosses have come alive with green and silver freshness. Now I know that for children, too, nature reserves some of her choice rewards for days when her mood may appear to be somber. Roger reminded me of it on a long walk through rain-drenched woods last summer. Not in words, of course, but by his responses. There had been rain and fog for days, rain beating on the big picture window, fog almost shutting out sight of the bay. No lobstermen coming in to tend their traps, no gulls on the shore, scarcely even a squirrel to watch. The cottage was fast becoming too small for a restless 3-year-old. "Let's go for a walk in the woods," I said. "Maybe we'll see a fox or a deer." So into yellow oilskin coat and sou'wester, and outside in joyous anticipation. Having always loved the lichens because they have a quality of fairyland, silver rings on a stone, odd little forms like bones or horns or the shell of a sea creature, I was glad to find Roger noticing and responding to the magic change in their appearance wrought by the rain. The wood's path was carpeted with the so-called reindeer moss, in reality a lichen. Like an old-fashioned hall runner, it made a narrow strip of silvery gray through the green of the woods, here and there spreading out to cover a larger area.